anybody has a cardiac incident tonight, we do have 2 AEDs in the courthouse. We have one on the first floor beside the elevator. We have one on the second floor here beside the elevator. If we were to have a fire alarm tonight or a fire drill, and we have to exit the building due to the fire alarm, everyone is to exit down the steps to the side of the road and exit towards the back of the building here around the back parking lot. Because the city fire department will be coming to the front and around the monument, and they don't want everybody in front of their trucks and their personnel in front of the building here. So they would like everybody to exit down the steps and towards the back of the parking lot. And for accountability, towards the back of the parking lot. Thank you, Ms. Holden.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate you and the work you do. All right, if everyone will please sign in so we can get our official count. All right, so we do have 22 present. We do have a quorum. I know one of those is sick this evening, so remember that. As we look over our agenda, does anybody need to make a correction or addition to the agenda? All right, we have a motion by Aaron Frazier to accept it as presented and a second by Danny Deal. Let's vote on approval of the agenda. All right, thank you. Motion passes. We go into our time of prayer and the pledge of allegiance. And tonight we have the prayer presented by Commissioner Willie Campbell and the pledge by Commissioner Lisa Childress. Please stand.
Gracious Heavenly Father, God, Lord, we approach your throne of grace, Lord, one more time today. God, thank you for this day that you restored upon each one of us. Lord, you've had your hands upon us, God, you've watched over us, and we thank you. Lord, we do pray tonight, Lord, for each and every one that you're some sick, Lord. Some may have other problems, but God, we know that you are the problem solver. Lord, tonight we do pray, Lord, for our country, our nation, God, that we get their minds and their hearts back into and put them back into their lives, God. Lord, tonight I do pray, Lord, for each and every one that's gathered here, Lord, that you have your blessings on them. Each county official, Lord, we pray, God, that you bless them. Give them wisdom and knowledge, Lord, when they need it. God, we do pray for this commission board, Lord. We pray, God, that we make the right decisions, Lord. God, it'll be pleasing to you. Lord, we do pray tonight, Lord, and thank you for answering prayer, working miracles in our lives, God. Lord, tonight you said, let not our hearts be troubled, Lord, but we know there's trouble on every hand. But God, tonight we know that we can look unto you, the author and the finisher of our faith. God, tonight we do give you praise and honor. We ask these things in thy name. Amen.
Amen.
Attention, salute, pledge. I
I
pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will the elected and appointed officials in the room please stand for recognition? Come on, ladies and gentlemen. We're grateful for your work. Thank you. We have minutes to review and approve. Looking at the regular meeting for June, are there any points that need to be made on those minutes? If you're working off of a paper packet, it's the one that's legal size paper. All right, we have a motion by Vice Chair Kelly Collins, seconded by Angie Odom, to approve the minutes for the regular session in June. Any discussion? Okay, we are voting at this time to approve the June 19th minutes. Okay, motion passes. I'm not seeing them right now, but I thought I saw them in the packet online. We do have June 30th too. There it is, okay. All right, so now looking at the minutes for the special call, June 30th.
Madam Chair, what's up there is notaries and bonds.
All right, it was just a second, thank you for that notice. We'll get that straightened out. Okay, she's got it already. All right, so those of you that have made the motion and say that we'll do so again. Yes, okay, so motion made by Dr. Acuff and seconded by Avery Wynn. Any questions or corrections to these? All right, please vote on the minutes for June 30th special call. There we go. All right, motion passes. The clerk's office will now read to us the people seeking notaries and bonds.
Gwen Crowe, Krista R. Morton, Cindy L. Booth, Jared William Tetrick, Amanda Lee Birchfield, Sandy D. Potter, Dolores A. Johnson, Leslie Allen Taylor, Betty Jane Burns, Russ Swain.
All right. We're ready to roll. We have a motion by Aaron Fraser, seconded by Gary Kemp. Any comments about notaries and bonds? All right, please vote to approve or disapprove those. All right, motion passes to approve those. Thank you. It's time for public comments. We invite you to come inside the chamber here through the swinging doors in the middle, come to the podium. Please state your name and address, and then you may begin speaking. You have a total of 5 minutes from start to finish. If you do not hear a sound made by the technology system, then I will have to interrupt you if necessary and call time. So, Mr. Von Cannon, are you asking to go first? Charlie, do you want to come forward?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the Carter County Legislative Body. In case you haven't heard that lately. Our esteemed counselor has been given my law books since I don't need them anymore. I never did need them really. But anyway, 50 some of them, and they are beautiful. I started giving to Roy Livingston, but he's not here tonight. I guess on the agenda, I didn't look at it, but I assumed that one of the big topics is the landfill situation. I don't know why I keep thinking about this thing, but this thing was my life for several years, and I can't get it out of my mind. Certification program for solid waste management is a 3-day program in Murfreesboro. Scheduled generally every May. So that's the first thing. You've got a problem with between now and May. The subjects are extensive, maybe 15 or 20 things that they go over. However, many of them have to do with finance. And I don't know, I assume that you handle the receipts of gondola rentals and all that stuff through your office. I would assume that. Because I don't think Benny operated out of his back pocket that extensively. The passing of the three-day program, testing on the fourth day, you have to have a 70 of 100 points to be certified. The landfill operations are fairly simple because you're only talking about a demolition situation up there now. The household waste and all, as you know, goes to Sullivan County through the transfer station, they call it. So that simplifies the situation somewhat. But there's a whole myriad of things. Surveying, for example, is on the list of training items. Erosion control, liners, which is not a problem. The one problem that I see, though, is the chemical end of it through the monitoring of the former landfill household waste. The household waste landfill is now shut down. You've got leakage from that because it didn't have a liner. It was put in there with 4 liners. And you have to ship or transport your fluid that comes off of that to Johnson City. Why? Because the Elizabeth sewer system, they tell me, cannot handle it. And with a chemical background, I've looked into that, and I cannot, in my wildest imagination, understand why the Elizabethan system can't handle it. Because it has to do only one thing. And I'm told it's ammonia content. Listen, if it's ammonia, it evaporates. So I don't know what the deal is, but several $1,000s you're spending to transport the fluid to Washington County. And it probably should not, you shouldn't have to do that. Check it out. There may be a way around certification from a standpoint of the May training. And say you can go to a private provider that gives training and send the person to that. However, I don't know the cost, but I can assume it would not be cheap. So what are your options? I don't think you have any, except Chris Schuler. And Chris has been around long enough, so he ought to know what's going on. I'm not endorsing Chris Schuler. He and I have had some tit for tats occasionally, but and he's been right sometimes, and I've been wrong most of the time. So, I will say that I respect his knowledge of what's going on in the county. Be careful. You could get yourself in a bind. I don't know what the answers are, although as I know that I had enough interest in my county to spend some time looking into it from the state level. Brian Wolf, keep that name in mind, those of you that are on the committee. More importantly, though, a lady by the name of Rebecca, and I didn't hear her last name and was embarrassed after asking her 6 times what her last name was. But I do have a telephone number if anybody's interested.
Mr. Von Cannon.
That's all I have.
Thumbs up.
That's all I have, and I appreciate, you guys taking care of my tax money because I've been fortunate, it is considerable. But I enjoy paying it as long as it's utilized efficiently.
Thank you, Mr. Von Cannon.
My name is Michael Milton. I'm a 7-year member of the Carter County Parks and Recreation Board. I'm here to tell the Carter County Commission that the Parks and Recreation Board has gotten way too political. We are an 8-member board. The 8 members represent the 8 districts of Carter County. I'm the 8th district board member. We were each appointed to serve on this board by the mayor and the county commission. I was appointed by Mayor Leon Humphrey, and so was our past chairman, Ken Googe. Ken Googe was appointed chairman of the board. Well, Ken Googe resigned from the board last August and had Aaron Frazier voted in as chairman of our board by saying it was state law that we do so by election. I was the only board member to vote no. I don't think there's ever been an election of board officers. Aaron Frazier is the board's liaison from the county commission. So we have an elected county commissioner setting our agenda of our, that's not right. One of the 8 board members should lead the board as chairman. Past and present chairman has also given non-member Wesley Bradley a seat at our table with 3 agenda items at our monthly meetings, making him the strongest force at our table. Wesley Bradley does not have voting privileges, but he has been given a strong voice of influence. This is not right. Carter County Parks and Recreation Board is an appointed board. We're not bound by a set of rules. This board was formed for each member to work their district for recreational opportunities. We volunteer to help the county have recreational opportunities, and we don't want to be caught up in politics, approving Ken Googe, Aaron Frazier, and Wesley Bradley's agenda. I'd like to be invited to the Ethics Committee meeting and finish my story. If you'd get me on that agenda, I'd appreciate it.
There is no ethics committee.
There is no Ethics Committee. Well, which committee, I want to hear what I have to say. I think this is very important. You think about it and get in touch with me. I'm easy to get in touch with.
Thank you, Mr. Middleton. Just so you know, the commission voted last term to not have an ethics committee because of the way things would have to be investigated are basically gonna fall in the county attorney's lap anyway. So, that's why we don't have one. It's not required by the state of Tennessee. But all of your, I guess there's 2 committees that do not have their chairman present in the room tonight, but their vice chairman are here. And so everybody has heard what you got to say. If any of them feel that it's appropriate to be in their committee meeting, I'm sure they will invite you, sir.
Could I come and talk to you, Josh? Sure.
Okay, thank you, sir. Who wants to speak next?
Michael Warren, Stony Creek, Tennessee. I
I'm a member of that board. I'll get to the Parks and Recreation at a later date. And I don't know enough about some of the community talking about this hospital stuff, because a lot of people are concerned about the time frame that's been involved with, like, let's say Sycamore, for example. Sycamore is like a backup to a lot of folks. You know, you can get there to be able to use that as a way station to get to Johnson City or something. Now it's all going to be whatever. But my main thing this evening is volunteerism. I learned just before the meeting started how Tennessee come up with that name, because it used to be on the tag a lot of times, and maybe still in some places. But I used to hear people say how they volunteered for, you know, whatever the subject matter may be, and they felt rewarded by doing so. And I thought they was the craziest people in the world. I really did. But I try to do what I can, and I recently joined the Meals on Wheels. And I'm telling you what, I got to eat my words. Because visiting the folks up in the creek area and just hanging out with them and talking with them and stuff has been a reward I didn't think was ever possible. And with the state, called the volunteer state, why there's such a decline in volunteerism when it really isn't that hard. When I was with the Honor Guard, unfortunately, we don't have. Yeah, there was a little work involved in getting prepared and learning the cadence and all that stuff. But the rewards are worth it. You know? I remember one time we got called all the way to the other side of Knoxville to do a service down there. And I thought that was the greatest thing since Shirt Pockets. You know? And the people that used to say that stuff I thought was just going a bucket of rocks, but I've been proven wrong. And the volunteerism thing seems to be on a decline, and I pray it will never go away.
So will you state your name? Because I think the first thing you said was that you were a member of Parks and Rec.
Well, Michael Warren, Stony Creek, Tennessee.
If I missed it, I apologize.
And I'll get back to that later.
Okay. Whoever wants to speak next, just come on up.
And two of us come.
Yes, it'll be one set of 5 minutes, but yes, both of us.
I'm Liz Banks. I'm a volunteer and a board member at Armed Food Pantry. And this is Scott Reynolds. Same.
Do the same. We've both been involved in ARM for more than 10 years, probably 15 years capacities. Assistance and Resource Ministry, we are specializing in trying to supplement with nutrition, with good food that we can disperse, and clothing free of charge to our clients.
You have helped us when we were absolutely sinking. You saved us. You have given us a yearly allotment, air conditioning, helped us with our cooling unit, and we are very, very grateful. Thank you so much. We have Scott.
Over 2,000, it's the first 6 months of this year, over 2,000 volunteer hours have been accumulated from many segments, individuals throughout the community. We only have 3 very part-time, very poorly paid employees.
It's a director, an assistant director, and a truck driver, which is very necessary. In June, we had 425 households served, 870 members. We gave clothing to 201 households, 435 members. Publix, Walmart, Sam's Club, Second Harvest, United Way, churches help us. We have a volunteer who writes grants. She's into it. and gets them sometimes, doesn't get them sometimes, like all grant writers.
We've had multiple fundraisers throughout the year. The Dairy Queen Walk, we have enjoyed very much putting those on. We also did, I did a concert last Thanksgiving, and we were able to raise $5,000, and I was thrilled with that. For those who don't know, I play the piano, and but anyway, it was a great time, and we have done yard sales, pancake breakfast.
Yeah, pancake breakfast.
We exhaust a lot of energy to try to keep the funds coming. But without the help from churches, our government, our grants, it makes it very difficult to continue to operate. And we just want to let you know, we have always appreciated your funding, and just remind you that this is a real need. We have clients that come to us all the time and says, I don't know what I would do without it.
Thank you for letting us present.
Thank you, Mrs. Banks and Scott Reynolds, very much. Someone else come forward?
I'll go. My name is Brittany Shell. Some of you, I'm also, I live in the Happy Valley District. Some of you are familiar. Last time I was pretty heated when I was up here. And I want you all to know that I'm not just the director of the Elizabethton Senior Center. I'm also a resident of Carter County. My son, who's 6, goes to Carter County schools. And I'm going to fight for the elderly population to live in this community. I have 8 years of social work experience. I know that, some of you are in the aging population, no offense. And I hope that you are blessed beyond measure and you have the resources that you need and the things that you have, and you have people who love you, family that supports you. My grandmother always said that if you have a loving family who's supportive of you and helps take care of you, then you are wealthy. And I want you all to know that I'm also the product of 2 grandparents that finished raising me. I had a mother that was addicted to drugs. I had a very turbulent childhood, and my grandparents helped me go to college, helped me fill out college applications, helped me understand a FAFSA. And because of that, I'm going to do everything that I can for the elderly people in this community, not because I see it as an act of charity, but it is our responsibility as a community to come in and take care of the elderly people that live here. It is not a charity. They've worked their whole lives. They deserve it. They're owed it. So, and I also have a son, that goes to the Boys and Girls Club, and my son has autism, and there's nothing in this community for him. But the Boys and Girls Club has made a huge difference in his ability to socialize and connect with other children. There's nothing else in this community that he can participate in. So if I see him heated, passionate, it wasn't meant to offend anyone in this room, but it was just meant to show you that I'm a bulldog. And when something's coming from my seniors, it's my job to step in front of it. And I think that certain things are okay to get angry about. It's okay to get angry that your meals, you may not be able to serve meals to the community that needs them. He was just talking about volunteerism, like we need that to exist in this community. And I feel so strongly about it that I'm going to fight for it. And if it's uncomfortable, it's uncomfortable. I hate public speaking. I'm shaking right now. I was shaking the last time I was up here. It wasn't my intent to yell at anyone, but it just came out, and I had 3 minutes, and it was all I could get into it. And the senior center, I'm a seasoned social worker. I apply for grants. I apply for every grant I can get my hands on, like Arm said. And you don't get some of them, and it's okay. but I'm still going to apply. But anybody who has any nonprofit knowledge knows that grants are a lot of the time non-reoccurring, and you can't depend on that. I love getting them. I just finished one for $8,000. I'm probably going to get it, and I have a lot of plans for it. But the 40 years that you all have been funding us has kept us alive and able to be something that we can rely on, because we should be able to rely on our government to take care of our elders. Where else would they go? A couple of weeks ago, I picked up a woman who was at Walmart and she has dementia and she didn't remember where she was. So I went to Walmart, I picked her up, I took her home. I went on home visits. I found people in their floors because they're passed out and the only person that knows or can check on them is a meal volunteer. I've made those home visits myself. I'm not above it. And it's little things like that that you all don't get to see, and I wish you did. I wish Kelly Collins came by our center. She took a tour. She sat down with me. She knows our finances, and I'm happy to do that with any of you, and I really mean it. Because I don't think if you make a decision in the future to gradually phase us out, that it's an informed one. I think it needs to be something that you all understand what you're doing before you do it. Because who are they going to call when they need something, when they need a resource, when their husband died and they don't know what to do or where to go? They won't have us, because that 26.5 is going to shut us down a good portion of the week. So I just want you all to know in the future what it will do to us if we stop getting funding. It's pretty serious. And I'm saying that as, a county resident as well. So, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brady. Anybody else coming forward? Okay, please come on.
My name is Kathy Williams, and I go to the senior citizens. When I lost my daughter and my brother 2 months later, I just went downhill. But my daughter wanted me to join the senior citizens, so I joined. And they've been helping me a lot, but so many women and men has lost their husbands and wives, and they don't have nobody at home to help them. And when we go to the senior citizens, we have friends. We have people to talk to about our problems. Some of them don't have no way to get there, so they have to rely on the bus. Right now, I can drive, but when I came, I would rely on the bus. But there's been such a blessing for me. We get our meals there. We get to take exercises, and we get to meet a lot of good friends. So just remember us, please.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. The floor is still open. Oh, please come, Sheriff Fraley. He's not on the agenda, so he graciously agreed to speak during public comments.
I will try to be brief. My name is Mike Fraley, and I think my address is 900 East Elk Avenue, which is known as the Carter County Jail. I'll bring you some news. This happened June 22nd. TCI came in, did an annual inspection, and some of you commissioners are new. But September 9th of last year, they came in and recommended decertification of the jail. I had 9 days to try to fix a problem that's been festering for years. Ultimately, we met December 14th, and they graciously agreed to let us keep our doors open. But that was after the hard work that you guys did. And first and foremost, I want to thank you guys for believing in us and trusting in us. But the reason I'm here tonight is on June 22nd, TCI came to do an inspection. 3 inspectors showed up, and I wasn't having a very good morning when Lieutenant Scout said they're here. So anyway, a very thorough inspection was done in the jail. And when I went up to meet with the TCI inspectors, with Captain Patterson, Lieutenant Scalf, and Sergeant Benson, they had first of all asked me if I'd taken my blood pressure medicine that morning, and I was expecting bad news. Folks, I'm here to tell you, we got a perfect score, and I don't know how, other than the hard work of Captain Patterson and his staff. And I asked them to come over here tonight so I could publicly thank them for their hard work, because this is a culmination of what you guys did and Captain Patterson and his staff. And if my jail staff would stand up for just a quick second, I've still got 3 minutes left.
Anybody else? We can invite Mayor Patty Woodby to the floor.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I just need to do an appointment, and I'll need their minutes to reflect. Donnie Sparks, I'm appointing to the Roan Mountain Utility District. His appointment, he's getting a reappointment. His appointment expired June 30th. So we'll need to reappoint him. Second, I'm just going to do a real quick update of all the big projects in Carter County that are getting ready to either be groundbreakings or ribbon cuttings. And we had a ribbon cutting this past week of one of the largest facilities, a state-of-the-art facility that there's one of a kind in the state and now one of a kind in the country. The Northeast Tennessee Regional Recovery Center. It's going to serve 9 counties. We had the governor here this week. Very proud moment for Carter County and all the counties that facility is going to represent. So we, in 5 to 6 weeks, we'll have we're going to try to have up to 45 patients in there by December in intervals of 5. So as chair of the board with the mayors of the 9 counties, I worked out agreements. The Roan Mountain Pharmacy will receive all the business from that facility. The clinic in Roan Mountain will receive they'll be doing all of our physicals and any type of medical for that facility. And then also bringing that facility back online, Roan Mountain Utility is going to see an increase of annual revenue, about $4,000 annually with 45 patients. We're going to have it up to 85 patients. So that'll double their revenue for Roan Mountain Utility, which is a big deal for them. So this is going to increase a lot of jobs, a lot of opportunity in Roan Mountain with this facility coming online. So we're really excited about it. And that facility is right around a $25 million facility. And that's state funded. All the baby doe monies you used to run that. And right now we've not had to use a dime of that money. The $10.4 million is still sitting in the bank account. The governor's come on board and issued. We've done grants. We have a reoccurring grant for $2.8 million that will run that facility. And we just signed the lease on that facility in March. So that's how quick this has moved. So I'm really excited. I know we had some commissioners that came. It was a great moment. We had leaders from all over the state there in one location. So, and thank you to everybody that was there. The past commission, who was a real big part of this, I really appreciate it. It's going to save lives, and we're going to reunite families, and we're going to stop the bleed in these counties that what we had the governor say is the big Goliath that's consuming a lot of our families. So that facility is huge for Carter County. Next, the Tweetsie Trail, $6.3 million is getting ready to be deposited into Carter County's bank accounts. We'll be doing the ribbon cutting on phase 1, which is completed, which the county commission funded. Phase 2, we'll be doing the groundbreaking on. We'll have 3 commissioners here. Commissioner Bryson, the finance department, Commissioner Ely, TDOT, and Commissioner Tidwell, Parks and Recreation. So they're off the governor's board. He's not going to come back for that one because he's going to be here again in September. So those 3 commissioners will be here to do the ribbon cutting and the ground breaking for that, the Tweetsie Trails and the biking trails. And that's another exciting project for Carter County. That's your your tourism piece. We're gonna see a real influx from that. And the next one is the Carter County Higher Education System, a $40 million facility. We'll be doing the groundbreaking with the governor in the fall. That first facility will be torn down. We will begin building a new facility there. Once that facility, the first one's built, Northeast State will move over to the first one, and then they will begin building the second piece. It's gonna be a phenomenal campus. The design phase is still going on, and it's absolutely beautiful. We're gonna have something to really be proud of in Carter County. So with those three projects and those facilities, Carter County in the past 2 years, $71,300,000 invested into Carter County in 3 facilities, which touch addiction, tourism, and education. I couldn't be more proud of it. Thank you to you all for everything you've done to support me, and to the past commission. A lot of these projects came on before the new commission. And then July 26th, we'll be doing the groundbreaking for the Doe River Christmas train. So that will be on board on Christmas of 2024. So a lot of good things happening in Carter County in the next 4 months. The ribbon cuttings, groundbreakings, very exciting time for Carter County. But the $71 million in 2 years, really, really great for us. The governor will be back when we do the groundbreaking at the educational facility. He'll be back to visit with us. But he's very proud of Carter County, and he's really investing in Carter County. Just on the $6.3 million that's going to the Tweetsie Trail, that's never been done before. So we're all trying to figure out how this works. We have to draw the paperwork up. A governor has never allocated direct funds to a project like that. So it's really exciting for us, and I hope it's something you all be proud of. So that's it. Any questions? All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Mayor. All right, Mr. Aaron Frazier, budget chair.
All right, first up, motion to approve funding to the outside agencies listed at a total of $174,809 and no change in the state approval of the 23-24 budget, with funds coming from the unassigned fund balance.
So as you see, motions made by Aaron Frazier, seconded by Nancy Brown. We're in a time of discussion.
Only thing that I would say is this is what the budget committee had planned to do from the start when we didn't make it as part of the standard 23-24 budget. I'm not really sure how it got blown out of proportion that we weren't funding the outside agencies anymore, because they couldn't get their money any faster than this anyway, because we can't hand out the allocations until the state approves the budget anyway. So is what it is though. It is what it is.
All right, if there's no other request to speak, let's vote on approval of the funds for the outside agencies.
Thank you, guys.
All right, so you can see now that it did pass.
Now, thank you, guys. Motion to approve the disposal of items from the trustee's office. The list should be in the packet.
Thank you,
Okay, so we're showing motion made by Danny Deal, seconded by Julie Gwynn. Any questions? All right, let's vote.
Thank you, guys. Next up, motion to approve the disposal of items for juvenile services. The list should be in your packet as well.
Motion made by Chairman Frazier, seconded by Andy Odo. Let's vote.
Thank you, guys. Next up, motion to approve Carter County General Fund Budget Amendment 101-1, item number 1, in the amount of $50,313.46, with nothing coming from the unassigned fund balance.
Motion made by Frazier, seconded by Brown.
For clarification, the reason we're able to do a budget amendment is because this is insurance recovery money that was received after July 1st.
There's no other comments, let's vote on this.
Thank you, guys. Next up, motion to approve monetary donations to the animal shelter in the amount of $2,195.02.
Motion seconded by Nick Holder. Everybody please vote. Mr. Williams?
Thank you, guys. And last up, motion to approve non-monetary donations to the animal shelter in the amount of $655.46.
Okay, motion again made by your chair, seconded by Jason Rasnick. Let's vote.
That's all we have from budget. Bye-bye, bye bonds.
Okay. Thank you, Chair Frazier. At this time, Chairman of the Financial Management Committee, Brad Johnson, is approaching the podium.
I mean, it's a contract with One Digital, which is with our Sequoia insurance broker. Our finance department is process, has mapped out the process of establishing a human resource known as HR in the county. Our finance director is very versed and knowledgeable of the process and how it works. And also it is something that reduces our liability as a county if, you know, when we are successful, get it all online for all employees. In this, the contract with One Digital has been reviewed by our legal department, our county attorney finds it acceptable, and our finance director. And it has an advisory group to examine our progress and advise us as to either add to or take away. If you have any other questions relating to human resource or how she intends to proceed with it, direct your questions to Director Watson. Do I have any?
Okay, so first let's recognize that there is a motion on the floor from Danny Deal, seconded by Dr. Acuff. And now you're in a time of discussion.
Seeing none.
Then you have one. Commissioner Frazier.
Just one question. Roughly how much time will this take off of you guys and save you during the course of an average week?
I really don't have an estimate of that because it varies week to week, but it will be significant in the fact that we will have backup from people who have a more extensive legal knowledge than we have in these matters because they change constantly. So we are very appreciative of the support.
I think this is a good direction to move in because this is nothing against you or anybody in your office. You're accountants, you're not HR representatives. It's like asking a plumber to do electricity. It's a bad idea from the start. I think this is a great one.
One thing I'd overlook to tell you, as far as the funding is concerned, this is in our annual budget this year, so it's already been taken care of. All we're doing is approval for the contract.
Okay, let's vote. Motion passed. Chairman Johnson, thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes.
So, Vice Chairman Danny Deal is coming forward from the nominating committee.
Carter County for the office of constable in the 2nd District of Carter County. First one is Brian Keener, Samuel Pierce, and Michael Mason. All nominees have completed their necessary paperwork and that's been confirmed. So now I'll allow the nominees to come up and speak, and then the commissioners can ask questions to each nominee. Mr. Keener, would you like to start out?
I'm Brian Keener. I live at 121 Winters Road, Roan Mountain. I'm a retired law enforcement officer with over 20 years experience. Also, criminal justice instructor. During my tenure in law enforcement, I served in different capacities from patrol to warrant squad, civil process, investigations, major crimes, homicide, to name a few. I also had rapid deployment training, which is a team that assembles in case you have a mass shooting at a school or a building meeting. I have over 2,000 hours specialized law enforcement training. Like I say, I am retired and would like to have a position of constable to better serve my community. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to take them.
Commissioners, the floor's open for you guys at this point. Yes, Terry Crawford.
Were you a patrolman in Carter County? Or
Well, my service was in North Carolina.
what branch? Or what?
Sorry. I was with the state for 4 years and with county and city. I was in Avery County at Newland, Watauga at Boone, and in Robeson County, which is Lumberton, Red Springs, and in Brunswick County at Oak Island.
I guess you've heard of Beaver Dam.
I'm sorry?
I guess you've heard of the Beaver Dam area.
Yes, sure have. Yeah, in Watauga County. Yeah, matter of fact, when I was working there, Chief Deputy lived down in Beaver Dam.
Okay, Mr. Keener, I think at this time, if you'll be seated,
Ma'am.
I appreciate you coming forward. Thank you for volunteering to serve in this capacity.
Thank you for your time.
Mr. Pierce, would you like to come next?
Good evening again, everybody. Samuel Pierce, again here on behalf of Jesus Christ. I've told you it's a bunch before. I think I spoke the last time drawing up appointment. Does anybody have any more questions for me?
I wasn't here at the last time that you was at. What's your background?
But 20 years, just retired last October from the Army. I was a 1900 Howard Scout. I was a military policeman. I was a all-source intelligence analyst. I was a machinist and a 42 Alpha, which is a human resources personnel, and a scout pilot, an air assault pilot, and a pilot. And I've served 8 years with the sheriff's office as well. All right. God blessings and keepings. Yes, sir.
Good evening, everyone. Nice to see everybody. Michael Mason, 6905 Highway 19E, Roan Mountain.
I'm real happy to be a citizen of Carter County, and I look forward to being able to help in my community. My back experience is military. I have honorable discharge from the United States Navy, Army Reserve, and Army National Guard. And I'm a retired law enforcement officer. The last position I held was in Washington, D.C. I was a patrol officer. I worked motorcycle patrol. I did a lot of escort for the president and dignitaries. I worked through 911. That was quite an experience right there. And if appointed, I will do my very best to be a working constable in Carter County. If there's anything that I can answer further, please ask me a question.
Mr. Mason, how long have you been a resident of Carter County?
I've been a resident of Carter County over 20 years. Thank you.
Now the floor will be open for nominations.
I nominate Samuel Pierce.
I nominate Mr. Mason.
I'll nominate Mr. Keener.
Now we'll close the nominations.
Vice Chairman Deal, I have been asked by the second district if they can speak since this is their district. And I am going to choose to honor that request. So if you want us to each speak individually, if you have anything to say, you don't have to, but one of you did ask me, so I'm going to honor that.
I just feel like the one that we vote for will be the one that we have more trust in for the simple reason. We've had some issues with a lot of questions being raised on one, so that's the reason we're voting the way we're voting.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Just clarify, there are two.
Right. So there are three gentlemen that have been nominated and have stood before us tonight, and they are vying for two positions. So you are able to elect two of the three. So we now need to do a roll call vote for each commissioner will state two names. Okay. Ladies, are ready? Here we go.
Will Campbell.
Mason Pierce.
Pierce.
Nick Holder.
Mason and Pierce.
Ray Cup.
Mason and Pierce.
Avery Nguyen.
Mason Pierce.
Julie Gwynn.
Mason Pierce.
Nancy Brown.
Mason and Pierce.
Angie Odom.
Mason and Pierce.
Steve Burrow.
Mason and Pierce.
Brad Johnson.
Mason and Pierce.
Danny Deal.
Mason and Pierce.
Jerry Profit.
Mason, Keener.
Gary Kemp.
Mason, Pierce.
Lisa Childers.
Mason and Pierce.
Linda Ward.
Mason and Pierce.
Jason,
Mason and Pierce.
Todd Smith,
Mason and Pierce.
Jason,
Mason and Pierce.
Aaron,
Mason and Pierce.
Cody,
Keener, and abstain my second vote.
Thomas,
Mason and Pierce.
and Kelly Collins.
Mason and Keener. Mason and Keener.
Trying to feel It's on my. Please. $22 or something. One of them could get your shoe on.
Yeah.
Question.
All right, so we are going to vote again, even though I believe there are clear winners here. We want the vote to be official and there to be no question to it. So because of the discrepancy, I'd like to ask the commissioners to please state your choices a second time. When the clerk's office is ready, they will begin to call your names again. Thank you for your patience and cooperation.
Willie Campbell,
Mason and Pierce.
Lee Fuller,
Mason and Pierce.
Al Draco,
Mason and Pierce.
Avery Wynn,
Mason, Pierce.
Julie Gwynn,
Mason and Pierce.
Nancy Brown,
Mason and Pierce.
Angie Odom,
Mason and Pierce.
Steve Burrow,
Mason and Pierce.
Brandon Johnson,
Mason and Pierce.
Jerry Prophet,
Mason and Keener.
Gary Kemp,
Mason and Pierce.
Lisa Childers,
Mason and Pierce.
Linda Ward,
Mason and Pierce.
Jason Clausen,
Mason and Pierce.
Todd Smith,
Mason and Pierce.
Jason Raznick,
Mason and Pierce.
Aaron Frazier,
Mason and Pierce.
Cody McQueen,
Keener and abstain.
Jerry Prophet, I'm sorry, Thomas Prophet.
Mason, bless your heart. What was his vote? We couldn't hear for laughter.
He said Mason and Pierce, sir.
Thank you.
Kelly Collins,
Mason and Keener.
Danny Deal,
Mason and Pierce.
Ginger,
Mason and Keener.
Third time's a charm. Throw 'em in the air. He coughing over with you. They made it, they got the 70.
Hey, you're lucky I didn't say Johnson.
Come up with a lot number every time. One was in stuff. And we had 5 of them. They get to a certain point. No, not a bull, something. And I know it's gonna be. 2 out of 3.
can't imagine.
Let's do this again, just to certify the certified.
Okay, we're now going to hear the official results from the clerk's office.
Mr. Mason, 21. Mr. Pierce, 18. Mr. Keener, 4.
I demand a recount.
So, Mr. Mason and Mr. Pierce have been elected this evening. Thank all 3 of you again for your willingness to serve our county in this way. And congratulations to Mason and Pierce.
She's gonna be here.
Okay. So, Attorney Harding, will you please state that so that the men can hear?
Yeah, so you all have to see Mary Goose, the county clerk, if she's gonna be here tomorrow. Yeah, and she can administer the oath, so you all can take office.
I'll be down there with bells on.
It's a blanket on.
We have something that was left off the agenda.
That's what it is, I'm sorry.
So we would have to vote to set aside the rules in order to hear this. It's a highway committee motion.
It's in the minutes that they got from the highway committee. It's just the speed limit change issue. It's my mistake. I left it off the agenda. So if it passes with more than 2/3 vote, I'm sure. But however you want to handle it.
And concerning break, I know some of you are asking about it. We have like 3 things left, but if you all want to take a break, take a break. Okay. All right, take a 10-minute recess.
Business, you always need to.
For the federal
Oh, yeah. Yeah, not bad at all.
What makes it such an interesting.
I hate to be buying an auction or trying to build something. I also hate to see land get broke up. Don't spike him in on you.
Been out of here.
We'll come back to order. All right, so what I was saying is, there is a change that needs to be made by the highway department. So in order to allow them to discuss that with us, we've got to vote to suspend the rules. So we have a motion by Eric Fraser to do that, seconded by Steve Burrow. Is there any discussion?
Just to clarify, this is only for the highway committee vote. This is not for the remainder of the session.
Okay.
Spend all rule.
It's actually a point in one of the things. If you suspend the rules, you have to be clear. You have to be very clear about what you're suspending.
Okay. We do need to be clear all the time. All right, if there is no discussion, let's vote on suspending the rules for this one motion to be presented. Okay, so motion passes. So now, Chair Reisinger, would you like to tell us what we need to vote to approve or disapprove?
Yeah, we had brought to the commission to vote to change that speed limit from 35 to 45 on the old Bristol Highway. There was no public comment. Nobody was in opposition. So we voted on it, it passed. Well, after it passed, go from 35 to 45, there was a lot of pushback from the citizens, and we ultimately want to do what they want. So we're coming today to suggest that we change the speed limit back to 35 from Slagles Road to the Sullivan County line, the real curvy part down through there on the old.
Okay, so everybody get that? We're now undoing something that we did a couple of months ago, if this passes. All right, so we have a motion to change the speed limit back to 35 for that one stretch of highway made by Jason Rasnick. We have a second from Jason Clausen. Any discussion? Let's vote. All right, so motion passes. Now, it's time to hear from the attorney, Joshua Martin.
Unfair.
See if I can live up to that introduction. Nothing major this month to talk about. As always, in the litigation realm, the litter cases are never ending and still going on. And we had 5 more hearings the other day in this room. There'll be 2 more that I filed judgments on in August. Those are continual. We are getting compliance. It's slow, but it's the method we have to pursue it. No new litigation filed this month against the county, which is good. As far as the other stuff I do each month, I make a written report. It'll be in your minutes. And other than that, if you've got questions, I'll answer. All right.
All right, so we go into commissioner comments. Who wants the floor first? All right, then I'm gonna say that anybody in this room right now that sees Anthony, our IT guy, over the next month, I want you to ask him to work on getting this technology into the cabinet back there like he said he was gonna do, so that our attorney has somewhere to put his legs. He has the worst seat in the house, I promise. Yes, Frank.
Madam Chair, I tried to use the request to speak, but it's not working at the moment, so. I just wanted to address what Mr. Melton had said earlier today. This is kind of out of left field. Mr. Melton and I have not really had any crosswords or anything other than him trying to go off the reservation on the agenda and trying to keep things on. But when I joined Parks and Rec, and when Ken was the chair, I suppose the second in command was always Eric Anderson. With his untimely passing and Mr. Gooch stepping off, no one else on the board felt that they were qualified or capable of doing it. So Mr. Melton had expressed interest in it, but ultimately it was a 7-1 vote. So it wasn't anything that I had lobbied for or anything like that. Chair, it was a matter of circumstance, I suppose. Wasn't anything that I wanted to do either, because of situations like this. But I've not pushed any sort of agenda. The agenda stays basically static each and every month, as is evident, because it doesn't really change. I just change the date on it and send it back on through. Wes Bradley has given a voice and an opportunity to speak at the meetings because Wes heads up 2 organizations that are responsible for 2 different parks in the county. One is Greenbridge Landing and the other one is the Hampton Watershed Trails. And Wes is also leading the project management, so to speak, of the Watershed Trail project. He's the one that's gone out and got all the drawings and everything. So giving Wes the opportunity to speak at the meeting, I think, is valid and poignant due to his specific knowledge on the projects itself. So I'm not sure what Mr. Melton was referring to. If anybody wants to come and sit in on a Parks and Rec meeting, you're more than welcome to. Would love to actually have some people show up for public comment. It'd be great for once. But, you know, if folks, I would encourage folks to reach out to Melton and ask what his specific concerns are, because I'm not aware of what they are. So it was news to me just as much as it was to y'all. So Mr. Warren left and he seemed to have something he wanted to say about it, but didn't. But I suppose we'll find out next Tuesday.
Thank you, Aaron. Anybody else?
One other thing, just on specifics on Parks and Rec, we have had the conversations with the city of Elizabethton on how to manage the funding. The funding comes into the county, and then basically the city will submit all of their POs for the work and everything, and they'll be taking care of the bidding and different things on the various projects that'll be going on, and the county will be sending forth the funds to them to pay those out as the time goes. The state has been very gracious in the amount of reporting, types of reporting we have to do. And as the mayor said, it's the first time it's been done in the state, so we're kind of making it up as we go along.
Johnson.
Madam Chair, in reference to our schedule of regular meetings, I would like to announce that the financial management will be on Thursday. First, it'll be on the 3rd of August. It will be at 5 o'clock in the mayor's conference room. The committee has unanimously changed from a morning meeting into a late afternoon meeting to help and to accommodate future board members if they're employed.
When is the financial management?
Beg your pardon?
When is the financial management? When do you want it on the schedule?
First Thursday every month.
August the 3rd.
3rd.
Yeah, it's right after the 2nd, right before the 4th. Just happy. I mean, you know, counting votes, it's a hard thing. I know one of you got 6 toes, you know. I know. Yeah, Lord, let me see like.
I don't think one of us.
What a way to go down, though.
Only one can help.
5 p.m. That is after 4:06.
Does any other committee need to make a change to the May? I'm sorry, May. To the August schedule. All right, Ms. Collins.
I'd just like to say that next month, if I'm correct, pardon, we will be voting on committees, right, or do we wait till September?
May, September.
Wait till September, and so the new committees won't go until
basically October. before
Well,
that.
I told somebody wrong, so I wanted to clarify that, because I couldn't remember if it was August or September, so.
September.
Okay, the floor's open for, you know what?
Motion to adjourn.
All right, motion to adjourn by, was it Holder? By Lee Holder, second by Danny Deal, all in favor? Say aye. All right, have a good night.